Bonsoir, mon nom est Ronan. Good evening, my name is Ronan. I moved to Belgium 2 years ago with my parents, who are both officers in the Canadian Armed Forces. Living in Europe has been a great educational experience for me. It's a strange thing. It seems the more I learn about other countries and their culture, the more I learn about Canada and myself. Last year, I had the privilege of making a speech for a commemoration ceremony at Atomium Canadian War Cemetery, not far from here in Flanders. I have visited many battlefields over the last 2 years where Canadians made great sacrifices and fought bravely to restore freedom in Europe. In fact, I live in one. The city of Mons was liberated by Canadian soldiers nearly 100 years ago. At Belgium, I talked about how my experiences changed my idea of how people go to war and what the experience must be like. I realized something else since last summer. For Canadians who leave their homes and families to come serve in Europe, time does not stop for them. I learned that the painful lesson when my grandfather, Carl McCorney, died just before Christmas this year. So when people talk about the sacrifice of service, that is a part of it, something I didn't think about before. Forever losing the moments we could have shared with our loved ones. So I guess my speech at Belgium went well enough to earn me an invitation here today. So I'd like to thank Ambassador Nikoloff, and in honor of Canada Day, my theme will be what it means to be Canadian. Most countries in Europe seem to express their national identity in ways that distinguish their culture from those of their neighbors. Some of these things appear harmless, superficial even. A special festival, ways of dressing, unique dances, styles of music, cuisine. These all make Europe a more interesting place. Other things people take very seriously, like national language, religion, and even ethnicity. I understand why these things are important, but I also see the danger that can arise when people begin to see themselves as different from one another. This year, my family took a vacation to Krakow, Poland. It is a beautiful and historic city, the home of my favorite pianist, Frédéric Chopin. We went to concerts, museums, and had a wonderful visit. We made memories I will always value. We also saw things I will never forget. A short drive from Krakow, we toured Auschwitz-Birkenau extermination camp. I have no explanation for the genocide, but it seems to only be possible when people embrace an idea of us and them. This seems to be an issue of growing importance, something I often hear on the news. The question seems to be, what must people do to become the part of us, to be welcomed within their societies? And that is what I love the most about Canada. When it comes to belonging, once a new arriver achieves his or her citizenship, they are just as Canadian as anyone else. I'm not saying I'm perfect. Our past treatment of First Nation people is not a proud story, but we are working towards reconciliation. We occasionally argue about language rights, but we seek compromise. We struggle with our identity and never seem to arrive at what single answer. What does it mean to be Canadian? You can love poutine or not. You can smother everything in maple syrup, but that doesn't make you more Canadian. Ice hockey, I hardly even know how to skate. Même si nous avons 2 langues officielles, although we have 2 official languages, there are hundreds spoken across the country. We celebrate St. Jean-Baptiste Day as well as St. Patrick's Day. We have powwows, Caribbean carnivals, potlucks, pride parades, multiple New Year's and Easters. Not far from where my nanny lives, in Vancouver, there is a street where, within a few blocks, you can see Buddhist, Hindu, and Sikh temples, Sunni and Shia mosques, a synagogue, and churches of every type, all good neighbors to each other. We are diverse. We don't feel the need to like the same things. If there's a pressure to conform to a common Canadian identity, it's this. We are inclusive and we are respectful of others. Some might say multiculturalism means the absence of a defining culture. Maybe that's true. Anyone can become Canadian, but that is our strength. And maybe in the end, it will be Canada's most important contribution to Europe. Not our accomplishments in times of war, but as an example of people, as people of the world can live alongside each other in peace. And for that, I am grateful. Thank you and happy Canada Day. Merci de votre attention.
Monsieur le ministre Hussein, nous sommes honorés par votre présence. La parole est à vous.